We talk about Kawhi Leonard, he's definitely one of the best players in the league. Definitely top three, top five player when healthy. But, we have to be, you know, um, straight up about everything. We have to be straight up about it all. And the truth about Kawhi Leonard, or the disturbing truth, I would say, about Kawhi Leonard in a lot of people's eyes is, the low managing. And, I've talked about this on many occasions, the low managing thing. It has its ups and downs, with it, or should I say it's beneficial for Kawhi, but it's not beneficial for, the fan base. And, now we're hearing reports about, Kawhi, having to sit out a couple of games and possibly being sent back, for possible treatment or anything on the knee. I think really what it is, Kawhi just has to go out there and play through it. You're going to have some aches and pains, some stiffness, because you haven't really, put that type of pressure on that knee in so long. And it's been a long time since you've played a real regular season, meaningful minutes in a game. And, he's going to have to kind of just play through it. I feel like he'll be okay. I feel like he'll come back and he'll be fine. But, hopefully he'll be fine. Hopefully nothing, transpires, because, that would be the Clippers, season right there. But of course, I think everything will be fine with Kawhi Leonard. I do. And I'm just going to keep the positivity up from there. But, Stephen A. Smith chimes in on that, Kawhi is a pro at, a champion at missing games. And, a lot of people are going to criticize Kawhi even more, but people have to understand too, he is coming off an ACL injury, and it's one of those injuries that you really got to be precautious with, and everybody's body heals different. Everybody's not the same. Whereas when I was watching ESPN Perk, Big Perk says that, he came back from ACL in 6 months and he went out there and played through it. But at the same time, Big Perk, I respect where he's coming from, but the game was different then. And then on top of that, Kendrick Perkins, well, he only played, right under the basket and, in the paint. He didn't really have to do anything like, athletic too much. So, the position, Kawhi's not a center, just stands in the paint. Kawhi moves around, he's, more active on the ball. Perk just did one job, really. So I don't really think it's fair to compare the two or whatever. Kawhi's asked to do a lot more as the player that he is, the superstar he is. Perk was just a role player, but I still respect Perk because he knows what he's talking about. And, Kawhi's been out a while, and, people are expecting to see him play, and I was actually, concerned. Well, I ain't gonna say concerned. I wouldn't say that, but because I said that, it's okay for him to come off the bench if he needs to and stuff like that. But, the fact that he wasn't in the starting lineup of the first game of the season was really, I don't know. It was kind of, I'm not going to say it shocked me, but I still thought they would put him in the starting lineup, let him play like 5 or 10 minutes, then maybe let him sit down a little bit, kind of get a breather, and kind of like, feel his way, through the game and things like that. But, they decided to go another route because they're being very precautious with Kawhi. And, like I said, I just hope that everything is okay with Kawhi because, they're really, favorable with his minutes. And, of course, if there is something more going on, the Clippers are not going to spill it. They're going to keep it in-house and, deal with it themselves. And I definitely respect that about them. But, Kawhi is going to have to be available, to play games because, the one thing I said before this team has to do is stay healthy and build chemistry. And if Kawhi is not on the floor, the chemistry is being hurt and it's not being built. And that is a recipe for disaster because you can't win a lot of times it's hard to win a championship off of talent. You got to win a championship off of chemistry. And, I think, of course, if Kawhi's not there, they're not building the chemistry they're going to need to go against these high-power offensive teams like, the Warriors, the Suns, the Nuggets, teams like that. These teams are coming for the Clippers. They're coming for everybody, So the Clippers going to have to be ready for everything that comes their way. But they're going to have to build this chemistry because, as I said before, they've got to at least bare minimum make it to a finals this year. And I know some people are probably saying, or a lot of people are probably saying, they have to win a championship this season. So, I mean, it's been 4 seasons they've been together, Kawhi and PG and everything. So this operation has to, find its way out. This operation has to find its way. And, in order for it to happen, Kawhi has to be available. And I know Kawhi is going to load manage some games and things like that. I mean, I'm not really concerned about that. Whatever they got to do to get through the season is fine. But the thing is, you don't want to load manage too many games because, as I said, you still have to build chemistry with the guys that's on the floor. And, Kawhi has to, understand that. But at the same time, he has to be healthy enough. So I'm not criticizing Kawhi, or anything at this point because there's no need to do that. That would be dumb to do that. It's early in the season. No need to panic. Just kind of, see where the season goes for Kawhi and this team, because the truth of the matter is they have to win. They have to be they have to be the last team standing in the West, representing the finals, going to the finals. And that's just the way it is. The Clippers have, a lot of talent on their team. That's fine, but all that talent comes with expectations. And I really hope that, the expectations can get met by them, because they really, as a team, they really have a lot of talent on their team. They're real deep. And, honestly, I really hope that also Ty Lue really figures out, what his lineup is going to be, who is going to be in the starting lineup, who his rotations are and everything like that, because they got so much talent. It's only one ball on the floor, but they need the right people on the floor. Like, I feel like Ty Lue honestly should be giving Brandon Boston and them a little bit more of a run. Diabate, get him off the bench, get him in there, get these young guys some run, gotta get these young guys acclimated, and everything. So I feel like Ty Lue is gonna have to, make some adjustments there, because interchangeable lineups back and forth and just experimenting with lineups sometimes can, hurt. At times it's good because it's like you see what you have in every player on the floor, but or every player on your roster. But like I said, at some point you have to be more, concise with your lineups and things like that. And I hope that, I think Ty Lue will, fix that, or at least I hope he does, because like I said, you need more consistency in your lineups and everything on the floor of who's playing, who's getting playing time and all those things, because that's how you build chemistry better. Whereas, if you just got all these different lineups all the time, it's like the chemistry is not being built because everybody doesn't really know their role. Everybody's just doing different things from week to week and from game to game, and that's not the strategy they would want to have. So, I mean, I think things will, get better, but I mean, they have to start getting better soon, because as I said, they don't want to wait till mid-season to try to build chemistry and all that type stuff and then try to take it into the playoffs, because as I said, you're going to wear yourself down that way mentally and physically, and you got a lot of competition in front of you, upcoming. So, the Clippers are going to have to be at their best, and they're going to have to, be as healthy as possible. And like I said, I'm not going to panic over the Kawhi Leonard thing or anything like that. About the news that I'm hearing about him having to go back and get more treatment on his knee and things like that. I'm not going to overreact with those things. We just have to see, how it pans out for Kawhi and how he does going through the season. I believe he will, continue to play, throughout the season. I don't think, that he's going to try to shorten anybody that way. But at the same time, he's got to be available to play. The availability is huge, man. You got to be available with your teammates. You got to be out there. You got to go to war with them, and you got to kind of play through some of those injuries. And like I said, the ACL is a very delicate, type injury. But, coming back from it, a lot of players are achy. A lot of players don't feel, that mentally comfortable on it until they just, take the chance, keep playing, keep getting healthy, keep working, keep pushing yourself, and, gradually get back to where back to where you were. And that's just the process of it. And Kawhi knows the process because he's been told, and I'm pretty sure people around him are advising him the right way. It's just that, we need to see more of Kawhi on the floor so this chemistry can get built and his teammates can, feel like, they can depend on him being there. And, of course, if Kawhi's healthy, he's going to be there. That's no doubt. Nobody's disputing that, but they need to know how much he's going to be there during the regular season, if he's available to play, or they need to know if he's not available to play, so they can kind of figure out what they need to do, because they don't want to fall. Like I said, they don't want to wait till the middle of the season trying to gain all this chemistry and try to take it to the playoffs and, see what happens, because, the way it is set up now, every game is really crucial, because it's like that play-in tournament has came into effect over the last couple of years. So you have to make like a 6 seed really to make the playoffs, and the other seeds are basically play-in tournament bound, from 7 to 10, I believe. So it's like, the Clippers don't really, they don't want to find themselves in a play-in tournament or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't think they will be there. I think their team is very strong and they got so much talent across the board. I think they'll be just fine. But, my main thing is, I hope Kawhi stays healthy along with the rest of this team, because they need that chemistry with him, because he's their best player. You can't not have your best player and then have him come back, here and there, or a very long time, away from the team, and, expect to go out there and be the best team you could be. The best version of the Clippers we haven't seen yet, because we haven't seen them stay healthy enough to see the best version of this team. I'm hoping that this is the year that we see the best version of them, because this is the team that has all the talent, and this is the team that a lot of people are putting in the forefront of winning a championship. So, if this team has expectations, they have to find ways to live up to it. And the only way they're going to do that is stay healthy as much as possible. And they're going to have to, have better camaraderie on the floor as time goes on during the season. And Ty Lue's going to have, better game plans going into games, and, having more concise lineups and knowing his direction of what he wants out of certain players and who's going to be on the floor, because that consistency there also is a big factor when you're trying to build, continuity between, all the players on the floor. That's how they gain chemistry also, because they know who's in the starting lineup. They know who's going to be there. There's not no changes in the starting lineup here and there, and all this stuff is pretty much set to who it is, and then you go from there, from who you want off the bench to actually come in the game and contribute. So, Ty Lue knows these things, and so do we as fans. We know these things. We know how this should be. We know how this should work. So hopefully everything goes well with Kawhi, and hopefully spirits stay high there with his knee and everything, because I definitely want to see him play at a high level again. I don't want to see him falter, because this league, sometimes you don't get a second chance, you know what I'm saying? And Kawhi, he's at the point where, a lot of people look at him as a low managing guy, and a lot of people are all against that. So it's like, you don't want them to, let them talk all they want, but you want to kill them with your actions. And I know Kawhi would rather be on the floor than be sitting at home or wherever he's sitting at now, trying to get treatment on his knee or whatever he's trying to do. But at the same time, like I said, if it's going to be any pains or aches or anything like that, Kawhi's going to have to try to play through it, because as I said, he has to make his imprint on this team. He has to be the guy on this team, and he has to lead this team. He's one of the leaders on this team. Paul George is another leader on the team too, but Kawhi is the guy, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's the leader on the team. So it's like these two players have to guide this team, and both of them have to be available, both players. And really that's the only way the chemistry is going to build for the Clippers, to where they feel comfortable enough that whoever they play in the playoffs, they're fine. They have a way better chance of winning rather than losing, because their chemistry is high and they're playing to the best of their ability. But we'll see what happens, and hopefully all good reports and stuff come out here in the next week or so about Kawhi and everything. Hopefully everything is okay with his knee, and hopefully hopefully the team just keeps, moving on, doing what they have to do. And when Kawhi comes back in the lineup, hopefully they're ready to, make a make a strong case for them being, the champions, which they already have based upon, their roster on paper. But they need to make a strong case of that, in action too. They need to go out there and dominate, some teams, and go out there and, kick ass, basically. That's what the Clippers need to do. So in order for that to happen, everybody needs to be there. Everybody needs to be healthy. So hopefully that happens, and hopefully we see the best of the Clippers this year. But hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments in the comment section. Check out my other videos if you haven't. And hey, Kelly out.